Too funny.
Did you get that water?
I didn't.
Was that crazy? I mean, genius, brilliant, but fucking crazy.
Which one? Oh yeah. What is going on?
Stay under the thing. So I'm driving along, trying to find a parking space, and I see my aunt and my mother come out the steps of the Dime Savings Bank of Brooklyn, and I had a kind of vision of what it must have been like for them 60 years before, when they'd come from Ireland, even from the north of Ireland, with creatures, you know, pigs and goats and chickens and Catholics and Protestants, and then to arrive in Brooklyn. And when my aunt and my mother got back into the car, I asked them, I said, so what was it like to come here? You were little girls, you must have been shocked. And they said, my aunt said, it was terrible, fierce, with the buildings and all the people. He says, but what was worse was when they told us that underneath the city is another city. And of course she meant the suburbs. And so I wrote this poem, The Four McCann Girls. The day the four McCann girls were shown Brooklyn and told that beneath their feet were rivers and tunnels, another fleet of trams, a whole underground city. That was the day they realized they'd need me. They could translate pence to nickels, new mince meant raisin. But one look at the brickwork, the smoking girders, one look at their small blue parents inching under the neon, storming the sky. And all but the baby sensed they'd need an American. Rich, educated, tall if possible. But where to find one? In the grease-japped kitchens, in the kiosks, in the velvet sacristies. On Sundays, paddies and sloped work caps leered at McCann's front stoop. Greasers sharked the boulevards, and Jews, garbed as mad priests, muttered and cawed along the lanes of Prospect Park. But the only way to get an American was to make one. Mary was eldest, so she tried first. But she barely had time to glimpse at the house I'd rent one day with turrets and stained glass windows opening at the pine limbs before the gardener she married, whose tenor voice still trills in McCann memory, died of rare cancer, and their girl child started to swipe coins and grow black crooked teeth, not like me at all. Then Betty, the prim one, entered the plush mouth of the Savoy movie house. And when she exited, daylight swelled to rubies in her bleary sight, and that night in her pillow, she saw Africa. Bogart's bone-deep American gaze, and she shimmying in the dream out of her wool skirt, patting her curls. All that summer, she peered back into the scum-white Coney Island surf, and then this Elizabeth, who stepped over sidewalk cracks and probably steam-ironed her underwear. She fainted, flailing the flexed waves until a navvy flung his shoes in after, and they lived like that, fainting and belting each other while 40 years skimmed by like a flat stone. And now she's babbling this fractured tale to me, the sea meanwhile having shrunk to a damp, senile shell. But she's sure, my aunt, and still furious, that it was me thrashed out of her womb like a knife. I nod, purr, sure. And when she stiffens, spits out that I fecked off the wrong way to some war and came back as someone else. I steal a glance at my cousin's military snapshot taped to the steel nursing home bed frame and swear that when it comes to this, between myself and me, we'll shoot each other. Then it was Kay who coaxed a wraith by jitterbugging her flamed fingernails. Together, they raptured bars and KFC halls, then boogied home to make a me Christ would mistake for his transfigured twin. But I'd been craved so many times, it came out smudged their well, padding the threadbare rugs in orthopedic shoes, soiling his musical necktie in the kitty wing. And that left Anne, the youngest, who dreamt at first of turrets and Bogart, But finally it was the dark she loved, mirrored when she closed her eyes and pulled her man down into it. That was the traveling then. Rivers and tunnels, farther than she'd ever dreamed or thought. No fear, no need, and when she looked up, I was gone. For all the scams they'd brooded, I'd slipped back, easy as a hanky through a ring. Though it must be a sliver of me's gone into the obscure god who sprays graffiti and huffs black soot onto the crust of Brooklyn, wildly fanning his worshippers back to life. Thanks, Bob.
Wow.
Back inside.
Awesome. That was awesome.
OMG.
What did I tell you?